Hello everyone, I am Poonam Yadav, Assistant Professor Sri Sankaracharya Mahavidyalaya Junwani Bhilai, here with the video lecture Knowledge Representation Part 2 with MSc Computer Science 4th semester, subject Artificial Intelligence, Paper 2, Unit 3. So in this video we discuss about the some schemalization, some functions, then what are the knowledge representation schemes are used. So schemalization, resolution, inference rule, unification, horn class, semantic nets, frame and scripts, conceptual dependencies. Okay, so let's start our lecture. First, schemalization. It is a process of replacement of existential quantified variable with Scholen function and deletion of the respective quantifier. So in this process, the existential quantifier that there exists a quantifier which we are using for someone predicate, so these are replaced with some Scholen function. And what is the function? It is a arbitrary function which can always assume a correct value required for an existentially quantified variable. Okay, so a formula that contains an existentially quantified variable asserts that there is a value that can be substituted by a variable that can make the formula true. So this makes that particular formula is true and replaced with this Scholen function. In this example, there exists precedent x. So x is a existential quantifier variable, so remove it with p1 Scholen function like that and write precedent p1. So instead of there exists precedent x, we replace it and write precedent p1. Okay, so another example, everybody likes something. Here is a predicate logic. For all x, there exists y, a person x and likes xy. So here y is the existential quantifier variable. So we replace this y with the Scholen function s1 that which is x likes. Okay, so here we write for all x, person x and likes x and s1x. Okay, so in this way schemalization will perform. Another example, now first eliminate this implication sign. For every philosopher writes at least one book. Okay, for all x, philosopher x implies there exists book y and write x and y. So there exists some y which book y and write y. For every philosopher y writes some at least one book. Here after elimination of the implication sign, we will get negation of this or this. Okay, so for all x, negation of philosopher x, or there exists y, book y and write x and y. So after removing this column, this existential variable y, we will get book gx and write x gx. So this is the process of schemalization. Here is a closure conversion procedure. In this step 1, first we eliminate all the implication and equivalence connectivities, like use not p or q in place of p, or p implies q. So in place of p implies q, in the first step we perform this removal of implication sign and double implication sign, then move all the negation to the immediately proceed an atom. Okay, so if use p in place of negation of p. Okay, and for this, suppose we are having this for all x fx, negation of for all x fx, then we will write there exists not fx. Okay, for all after negation it will become there exists, and here there exists will become for all. Then renaming the variable if necessary, so that all quantifier have different variable assignment, that is rename variable, so that variables bound by one quantifier are not the same as variable bounded by the different quantifier. Suppose we have two different quantifier, then we renaming it like suppose for all x px implies for there exists x qx. So here two different quantifiers are there but using the same variable, so we renaming with y. Okay, so for all x px implies there exists y qy in this way. Then equalize by replacing the all existential quantified variable with Skolem function. Step 5, move all universal quantifier to the left of the expression and put the expression on the right hand side. Then elimination of all universal quantifier and conjunctions. We will see this example. In this step 1, we remove the implication. Then we will get this negation of this or this. Okay, so overall negation of for all z p fx y z. Okay, or this whole portion. Now in the next step we remove the negation, then this for all will become there exist. Okay, and this p become negative of p. Then next step, renaming is not required. In the next we will perform the Skolemization. In that x variable replaced with the a x. Okay, and this z will replace with the gy, and u is replaced by hy, and v is replaced by iy. These are the Skolem function replacing. Okay, then in the 5 and 6 step, look at here, for all y not p f a y gy, okay, or q a h y and not p f a y gy and r y i y. Okay, so in this way it will perform and these two conjunction we will get. Now resolution principle. Resolution says if there is a two clauses are there with no variable in common. Okay, and if there is a literal L1 in C1 and which is the complement of a literal L2 in C2. Suppose L1 and L2 are the literal in two clauses C1 and C2, if they are complements. Okay, then L1 and L2 are deleted and this disjuncted C is formed the remaining reduced clauses. The new clauses C is called the result of C1 and C2. So this resolution will perform resolve it. Okay, so not P or Q and not Q or R. So in here in these two clauses we have Q and not Q. So these two are deleted and we will get not P or R. Here is an example. Okay, so in A and B we will have P and not Q resolved and we will get Q or R. Okay, then another C clause is not Q or R, so Q and not Q, again it is resolved and we will get R as an answer. So this is the tree form. So in this way resolution will perform. Then this closure form, suppose oxim is given, in this way we will perform closure form after removing this implication sign, and in this way resolution will perform. This R and not R will cancel out, deleted, then this not P and P is deleted, then T not T or Q not Q, these two are eliminated, and not T and T will eliminated and we will get nil. So resolution is used for proving the logic in the reverse format. So resolving, taking the negation of it and resolve it and getting the result. So this is the concept of resolution. Then horn clause, in this way it consists of a set of statements joined by logical AND. So all these conditions 1, 2, 3, all these conditions are true if means result is true if all these conditions are true. Okay. Now inference rules. Inference rules says that it provides the means to perform logical proof or deduction. Okay, it having some assertion and implication, and we will get some conclusion. Suppose Leo is a lion, all lions are ferocious. Okay, so conclusion, Leo is ferocious. This will how to represent in a logical symbolic format. Lion is Leo, lion Leo is a lion. Okay, so we represent it as lion Leo. Then for all x, Leo x implies ferocious x. Okay, then conclusion, ferocious Leo. So we replace x with the Leo and we will get the conclusion that ferocious Leo. Leo is also ferocious. Here suppose particular A has a property P. For all object of P, we also get the property Q. Okay, so we can say for Q, A is also true. See, these inference rules are using to proving the logic. Every father argue with his son. John is a father. So for all x, father x, argue x, son, father, John. Okay, so 1, 2, we will representing this true statement in this predicate logic, and now replacing John, replacing x with John. Then we will get father John, argue John, x John. So we will conclude that John argue with his son. Okay, and unification. Unification means a recursive process of merging two or more predicates with constants or with some variable. Any substitution that makes two or more expression equal is called unifier for the expression. Two formulas unify if they can be made identical. Unification is a function that assigns building to variables. A building is either a constant or a functional expression or another variable. Here we can see the example. Suppose Pxx, Paa. Then we can say Xa. X infer A. Yes, it is true. But if we are saying Pxx and Pab, then we cannot infer. It will fail to infer. Again, Pxy and Pab. Then it will we will have XA and YB. Okay, but suppose we have PXY and PFXB, then it will not refer. Again, suppose QX, PY, it is failed. Okay, PX, PY, then X tends to Y. Yes, we can unify it. So it is true. Then P Marcus and PY, then Marcus Y. Yes, it is true. But if we saying P Marcus and P Julius, so it will be failed. So now next concept is semantic nets. This is the representation of knowledge in the interconnected nodes and arcs and relationship. Okay, some graphical representation are there in which representing knowledge as a pattern of interconnected nodes and arcs. Okay, and the relationship between the arc represent the representation between the nodes, and the arc having the label which shows the type of relationship. So the main idea behind semantic nets as the meaning of a concept comes from the way in which it is connected to other concept. Here is an example. Bird has a wing. Okay, so bird is an object or entity and wings is another entity. This bird is connected with wings, has a relationship. Okay, bird has a wing. So arrow goes from bird to wing. And another statement is sparrow is a bird. So Sparrow is another entity which is a relationship bird. So sparrow is a bird and has a wings. So here we can conclude that sparrow has a wings. Suppose these statements, Tweety and Sweetie are bird. Okay, so bird, Sweetie is a bird, Tweety is a bird. Okay, then Tweety has a red beak. So here Tweety has a beak and of color red. Then Sweetie is a Tweety's child. Sweetie is a Tweety's child. So child of relationship is will appear. Then a crow is a bird. Crow is a bird and bird can fly. Bird can fly. Bird has a wing. Bird and then these is a relationship. Sparrow is a bird, crow is a bird, Sweetie is a bird, Tweety is a bird. Then Tweety has a beak and of color red. So in this way we can represent the facts in the network format, and here we can also answer some questions also. Okay, so which bird has a red beak? So here we can find out Tweety is a red beak. Okay, and can Tweety fly? So yes, we can find out because Tweety is a bird and bird can fly. So we can say Tweety can fly. Another example, two-wheeler. Suppose scooter is a two-wheeler, motorbike is a two-wheeler. Two-wheeler has a moving vehicle. Moving vehicle has a fuel system. Vehicle has a electric system. Moving vehicle has a brake. Moving vehicle has a engine. So in this way, semantic nets is used for representing knowledge. Advantages is it is a simple representation, easy to read, easy to association is possible, and inheritance is also possible. Disadvantages are separate inference procedure must be built, and the validity of inference is not guaranteed. For large network, the processing is inefficient. Now frame. This is a knowledge is organized into small packets. Okay, knowledge is organized in some small packets. How the content of the frame are certain slots which have some value. All the content of the frame have some slots, and these slots having some value. And frame can be defined as a data structure that has slots for various objects, and a collection of frame consists of explanation of a given situation. Then all frame of a given situation consisting the system. Whenever the encounter situation, a series of related frames are activated and the reasoning is done. Frames are two types, declarative and procedural. In declarative frame, frame contains description about object is called a declarative or factual frame. Like computer center, this is the name of the frame. These are the slots: air condition, computer, stationery, printer, and dump terminal. These are the slots. Okay, so whenever the particular action will perform for the particular slot, then it will be activated. And in the procedural, it having some additional information like some action slot, object slot, source and destination, and task slot. Okay, actor slot means who is the performing the action. Object slot means in which action will be performed. Okay, for the item where the action will perform. Then source slot, what are the source information where the action began, and destination hold the information about the place where the action has to be end. Okay, and task, what are the action will perform. So cleaning the jet of carburetor. Okay, so action is expert, then object is carburetor, and source is scooter, destination is scooter. Then first task is removal of the carburetor from the scooter, then clean it and fix it to the scooter again. So these three tasks are there: source to destination, then object and actor and object. So this is the procedural frame. Now advantages of frame is the knowledge can be structured, flexible inference by using procedural knowledge, layered representation and inheritance is possible, but the design of the inference interpreter is not easy, and validity of the inference is not guaranteed and hard to maintain consistency between the knowledge. Now scripts. So script is because for performing anything or doing anything we need some background knowledge, some additional knowledge, or some scriptive knowledge. So here in the script they are having some entry condition, then result. Entry condition means precondition before going to start that script. Okay, calling the script, what are the condition of the facts. Okay, then result, post condition, facts that will be true after the script has been terminated. Now suppose entry condition is open restaurant, hungry customer, that has to be money. Then result example for the result, customer is full and has less money, and restaurant owner has full money. So and then props, we are using the props in the scripts, typical things that support the content of this script, then like waiter, table, menu. Okay, then role, what are the roles, what are the actions performed by the participants, represented using conceptual dependency also. Then like waiter takes order, deliver food, presented bills, like that. Then scenes or temporal aspects of the script. These are the primitive acts like physical transfer, then abstract relationship, physical relationship, give or go. Okay, so these are the transmission which are using. Now example of food market. Suppose we are going to food market for grocery market for buying some grocery item. Okay, so we require to buy some grocery item because I have money, I have need some grocery item, so that I went for the food market. So script name is food market and track is supermarket. I am going to supermarket. And what are the roles are executing? Shopper, okay, attendant, food attendant, then checkout clerk. Okay, again different type of clerks and other shoppers are there. Okay, these are the different roles are there. Entry condition, shopper needs some grocery, food market, open. Then props, what are the props? Shopping cart, displaying market items, then checkout stands, then cashier and money. Scene 1, entry to the market. First we enter into the market, we looking for the shopping cart, and then we are searching for the item, what are the item we need to buy. Okay, then we go after taking the item into the shopping cart, we will going for the payment detail. We are going to the payment, then we do payment and we exit from the supermarket. So these all the scenario are giving in this 4 scene scenario. Okay, so entry market, then shop for the item, then checkout and exit market. So these are the action performed in each scenes. Okay, so in this way what result will occur? Shopper has a less money, shopper has grocery item which he require, then market has a less grocery item and market has a more money. So these situations are occur after performing the scripts. Okay, so in this way script concept will used. And now conceptual dependency, this is the theory of natural language processing. It is used for natural language processing and it deals with semantics of the language. Okay, so extension of semantic language networks to define a complete set of primitives to use as relations in semantic networks. Here primitives actions like act, action, PP is for object, then AA is for modifier of action and PA is for modifier of object. Now motivation of conceptual dependency is to construct computer program that can understand natural language. We require that computer can understand the natural language, and it is to make inference from the statement and identifying the similarities between two statements. We can able to identify the similarities between two statements by using this conceptual dependency to provide facility for the system to take part in the dialogue and answer the queries. We can able to answer the question with the help of conceptual dependency. Then to provide necessary planning that statement can be translated into other language. One language statement can be translated into other language with the help of this conceptual dependency easily. Then to provide means of representation which are language independent. So these are the motivation and these are the primitives are used. Now for example, I gave a book to a man. So I gave a book to a man. Okay, so book is transferred from me to that man. Okay, so here is the abstract transmission are used. And I am telling that I gave a book, so this is a past tense, and book is transferred from I to me, so here the transmission is from I to me, I to man. Okay, so means me to I, man. Okay, and this is the R is for recipient case relation, for which book. Okay, and object case relation, this I. Okay, then in this way CD concept are used. And advantages using these primitives involve fewer inference rules because already they are represented in CD structure. And but disadvantages of this concept is knowledge must decompose into very low level primitives, impossible and difficult to find the correct set of primitives. There are so many primitives, and it is difficult to find out the correct one. Then representation can be complex even for relatively simple action. For the simple action, it can create complex representation, and complex representation require a lot of storage. It also require a lot of storage. So in this way, in this lecture, we will conclude with all the schemes used for knowledge representation like frame, script, okay, semantic nets, and conceptual dependency. And we will also see the concept of scholemization. So I hope in this video you will understand about the concept. And references about this is Artificial Intelligence, Alan Rich and Kevin Knight. Artificial Intelligence, a Modern Approach by Peter Norvig and Stuart J. Russell. Then Artificial Intelligence by Rajiv Chopra, and Artificial Intelligence and Expert System by V.S. Janakiraman, K. Sarukesi and P. Gopal Krishnan. So I hope you understand the concept. Thank you.